Hey Leute, Ihr Kommissar here, coming at ya, the jamming game. Hey, we finally got the accent you all have been waiting for. It's been a wonderful season. Guten Tag, or I forget how you say good evening in my native tongue. Because most of you will probably be watching it this evening. If not, Guten Morgen if you're watching this on your morning commute. Dipping into Australian there a little bit. Your commissioner here, if you translate, hey fellas, your commissioner here, coming at you for a little week 10 of NFL action. As you can see, right, geared up. Thank you, Duncan, by the way, for the reminder on the German accent. Dankeschön, my friend, Mr. Duncan Bolch. That's kind of a little Russian. I've never broken out the Russian accent. I'm sure the NFL will never play a game in Russia for a myriad of reasons. But the Russian whiskey or Russian vodka puts a lot of hair on your chest, right? Hey, see, maybe I could be Russian too, But we switch back to the German in the game in the wunderbar homeland, Berlin. Between the Colts and the Falcons. The Falcons are always a wonderful treat for the Europeans to enjoy. The wonderful, majestic bird. And we can't wait to see them and give them some nice beer steins and some Stroop waffles. And many of the other, some Wiener Schnitzel, of course. How could I forget the Wiener Schnitzel? How silly of me. We're welcome with the gracious German hospitality to welcome the two of the premier franchises in the NFL. The Indianapolis Colts and the Atlanta Falcons. So, Dankeschön, and I will maybe have another return later in this video. Thank you very much. Dankeschön. Danke. All right. Fun little opening. Replace it with talking about the piss-ass Hogs. Nobody needs to talk about them. 100, 200 yards penalties, 18, whatever it is. Basketball. It's basketball season, right? Basketball team looked good. Got a good opening win. Acuff, Malik Thomas looked pretty good. They look pretty good. I don't know about the rest of the team. Brazil's pretty good. Wagner, Richmond, and Ewan and Pringle, Sealy. I don't know, but hey, Acuff and Malik, they're pretty good. So, let's just go ahead. Let's just dive right in. Let's just dive right in. We'll go ahead and do a quick recap of last week's games. We'll start off with the Kit Kat Ghost Toast game of the week between Keeping the Faith and the Swamp Donkeys. And faith levels are at an all-time high. You know what I mean? 7-2, 4-game winning streak, 203.4 points to 116, almost won by a crisp 100 points. First 200-point performance, I believe for me, maybe in league history. The first one since last year where Blaine scored 202. The highest scoring performance since Nick scored 205, all the way back in 2014. So, and like I said, Nick, he's got 3 of the top 4 spots. They're pretty good. Blaine also as the second highest points for. It's really, it just feels good. You know what I mean? Just feels good. Certainly have had my fair share of adversity this year. Some of it self-inflicted. Some of it just in the fate of the fantasy gods. Hands of the fantasy gods. Brock has been out for a month. Really only had one good game. Was playing injured for the 3 games after that. He comes back to a 40 burger, bang, 3 tutties, 43.5 45, excuse me, .3 points. High scoring tight end. I think I saw this today actually, that this is the highest scoring performance of any player this season. Now, different scoring. I think quarterbacks in this league have done some better, had some better weeks, but definitely of the position players, non-quarterback, I believe the highest point total on the year. That could be wrong, but one of the highest, definitely the highest for a tight end. The highest in his career. 12 catches, 127 yards, 3 tutties, and only four first downs. He got short of a first down like 3 or 4 times in the game. Great. DeAndre Swift has been carrying me a couple games this year. He finally had to give in a little bit. Hurt his little groin. Manungai, bang, pops in, 27 points. Didn't even get a touchdown. He got 27 points. Didn't even get a touchdown, this guy. I mean, it was comical almost. The Bears scored 47 points. They're having all these weird trick plays, scoring these touchdowns. Some guy I'd never even heard of, Brenton Johnson or something like that, scored a touchdown, like 20-something yards. The fact that he got 27 with no tutties is pretty good. Of course, Swift's going to come back, and that's going to be a muddy, murky thing and probably be to the detriment of both of them overall from a fantasy purpose. But we enjoy it while we got it, certainly. Marvin had the best game, one of his best games of his career on Monday night to cement, put me over the edge in the 200-point echelon, the halls. Actually, I was looking that up today. Second time I've scored 200 points. First time was back in 2015 when I don't think my name was keeping the faith yet, but that is the season I won a championship. Just saying. I scored 201 points week 3 in 2015 and went on to win a championship, my only championship that year. Is it an anomaly? Is it a trend? We'll see. A lot of season left to go, certainly. Herbert has been amazing for the last 3 weeks. Fortunately, Joe Alt was back, I believe, 2 of those 3 weeks, and now he's done for the year. I think we're probably going to see I think Herbert's peak is come and gone. So, unfortunately there. But, no Mike Evans, no Bucky Irvin, like I said. I haven't had Bucky since week 4. Who knows when I'm going to get him back, if ever, at this point. I made a dumbass trade with Wilson and gave him RB5 on the year, Rico Dowdle, and Garrett Wilson, who's going to be back and healthy and the only relevant player in that franchise. For Mike Evans, who maybe comes back in the fantasy playoffs, probably not. And Rachaad White, who since I've gotten him he's averaging less than 10 points a game. So, despite all of this, to still be 7-2, I'm blessed. Keeping the faith. Maybe this is what I needed. And I think I've tried keeping the faith in the past, in a previous season not too long ago. Went away from it. But you know what? I think this is something I've been missing over the years as a team name that can stick with me throughout the years, as many of our great teams in this league have. And, no matter how this season pans out, I think keeping the faith is here. Stick around. It's just a good life motto. You know what I mean? It's just a good constant reminder to keep faith, whether that's faith in whatever religion you believe in, whether that's faith in yourself, whether that's faith in your team. The power of positive thinking can certainly do a lot to benefit yourself in your life. So little wisdom right there, right? And for Blaine, I feel for him. I really do. He's had a really rough go of it this season. He's now 4-5. He's kind of been, pinballing back and forth. Couple wins, couple losses, win, couple losses, win, loss. If you break the season down into quarters, he went 2-2 in quarter 1, 2-2 in quarter 2. And he's off to an 0-1 start But if he can keep that trend and then, just split the last couple of weeks of the season, he's going to position himself A-OK for getting into the playoffs. I mean, he's still got Drake May. He's very good. I about called it as 25. He got 24. Henry, a little underwhelming. No tutties. In the game that they just, dominated the Ravens. Chase Brown looks like he's coming on maybe finally. Puka is Puka. Ladd's going to be up and down. You got to think Emeka off the bye should be fully healthy. Unfortunately, he did lose Tucker Kraft, torn ACL, out for the year, off his team. Fortunately, he does have Fannin, and so you look at Blaine's like no buys, no additional injury team. I mean, he's going to have Drake May, Derrick Henry, Chase Brown, Nakua, Emeka, Ladd, Fannin. And then, he'll figure it out at the flex between Aaron Jones or Kenneth Walker, Darnell Mooney, maybe Ayuk later in the year. And I think he's okay, but certainly took a step back in the points for column this week. He's sitting at 111.67, which puts him at the top of the table of the non-playoff teams. But it's not enough. He's about 30, 40, 70, about 70 points down from Nick to get that automatic qualifier in the 6th seed. Really, he needs Savoy and or Rip to start losing some games and Nick to start winning to get Nick in off record and get Weed Leadville and French Horseass down in the dumpsters a little bit where he has a better chance. He's about 20 points up on both of those guys. But Plug is right there too, right? We'll get to him in a minute. So, I think Blaine's in for a dogfight for the rest of the year. Obviously, way undershot his projection. Some of that's no fault of his own. I mean, obviously, Tucker Kraft going down early in that game really hurt his point total. Wouldn't have been enough, but I still think Blaine has a chance. If nothing else, Blaine's not going to win horse ass. I think that's very safe to say. So, moving on here, we only had one team below 100 points this week, so credit to you guys. Good job. Had some low games, not much over 100, but only one under, just barely been under. Next, we got the Dirty Birds coming back on Monday night to win 138.6 against Flo's Fury, 129.55. AJ Barner and JCM does just enough. JCM's been bad, guys. I mean, 5 points, 3 points, 4 points, 8 points. That 30-point explosion against the Chargers back in Week 5 seems like a decade ago at this point. And, Plunk just doesn't really have much other options. I mean, he could roll the dice on starting Tootin or Coker, but, Tootin's been 2, 5, 3, 3, 8, it's not good. And maybe coming out of the bye, it seems like he could get a post-bye bump, but we'll see. I mean, you take away the touchdown, he was 9 for 29 and 1 catch for -3 yards, so not what you want to rely on. Travis Hunter's out for another 3 weeks. Omarian's out for another couple weeks. His bench is just bad. He's bad. He's starting Juwan Jennings, Diggs, Waddle. I mean, Daniel Jones, who had a whopping 5 turnovers, showed his ass. Still got 22 points. But 5 turnovers showed us who he truly is. But I think really I look at Wilson, right? He's lost 8 in a row now. He's 1-8 since starting the season 1-0, in case you forgot. He's lost 8 in a row. But 129 certainly a total that's going to get you a win a lot of weeks. I mean, he would have beat 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 teams this week. So progress. Hey, get out of there. Loki, come in here. Loki. All right, he doesn't want to listen. So, it would have been nice. But I think Wilson down the stretch here, he beat his projection maybe for the first time all season. I mean, he outscored his projection by about 8 points. Dowdle's been, like I said, great. He had a couple rough weeks there, week 7, week 8. But, another 30-point performance from him. A little dinged up, but I think that's just maintenance. And he's got a great schedule down the stretch. I mean, there's a lot of green, especially in the fantasy playoffs, which is where Wilson's going to need him to stay out of the bitch boy duties, right? Playoffs are for bitch boy. Laporta's coming on and went double barrel tight end. I mean, he put up 129 without Barkley, without Garrett. I think he's going to be okay. I certainly don't look forward to playing him in a few weeks, because I think he has a good chance to get maybe on a little 3-4 game win streak here to end the year. For Plunk, it was another week undershot his projection by 20 points. Cash it. It's undefeated on the year. Most weeks hasn't been close. Within 20 points, not close. Sleeper loves his team. His team doesn't love his team, unfortunately. And I don't love his team. Honestly, I don't, McCaffrey goes down and this team goes from maybe being a fringe playoff team to this team might win horse ass. Honestly. McCaffrey is covering up and masking a lot of flaws on this team. And, I don't know. I don't believe in it. I think he's 4-5. I think he's quite lucky to be 4-5, to be quite honest. He's got, he's got a decent amount of points against too. I mean, he's top half of the league in points against. He's got a negative 30-point differential and just kind of has got a little lucky, right? So he's certainly scoring points, but I don't know. I just don't like his team, really. That's all about to say about that. Certainly, I like Blaine. Wouldn't mind him being in the playoffs, but I certainly wouldn't give me any heartburn at all to have both of those guys sitting their ass on the sideline. Guaranteed that we would have a new champion for the first time in 6 years. Let that sink in. 6 years it's been since somebody named other than Connor or Blaine has won the title in this league. Let's sink that in, guys. Right now, neither one of those guys are in the playoffs. Let's do our damnedest to keep it that way, all right? Don't give these guys a chance because they are proven winners. They are champions. They find a way. If you fuck around and let them hang around and get in here, they're going to find a way to get into the championship game, one of them, and give it a real run to winning another title. I don't want to see that. Nobody wants to see that, all right? So let's not let it happen, okay? Keep the faith that it's not going to happen, right? Next, garbage matchup. Close one. Trucknuts wins 110 to 107.8. One of the closest games we've had this year. Came down to Monday night. Back and forth. Swinging back and forth. Whoop, 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 whoop. Who's going to win? Between Javonte Williams and Trey McBride. Trey McBride catches that touchdown late. Kind of puts Ford ahead. I think Javonte got ahead a little bit again, and then McBride got another catch, put Ford back ahead, and then Javonte fumbled the ball, and that was the nail in the coffin for Wheat Leadville to drop to 6-3, which very easily Wheat Leadville could be on a 4-game losing streak. Was a very real reality for Mr. Ripple. Hey, y'all stop fighting. Hey, stop. Kids, what are you going to do? After starting the season 5-0, he's now lost 3 of his last 4. And I don't have a lot of confidence in this team, guys. I think I've told you, I just don't. I don't have a lot of confidence in this team. Vidal has been his up and down continues. So I guess next week he's due for a 20-point explosion. Javonte is kind of showing a little bit more humanity, a little bit. He's flesh and blood. Debo's just bad. The Commanders are bad. DK's bad. Addison's drunk driver, speeding. Kincaid's good. Montgomery's just a jag at this point. I mean, he's fine. He leaves QJ on the bench, 15 or 16 points. Dobbs on the bench, 18 points. I don't know. Rip's just got a lot of guys. To my mind, especially like in his wide receiver room, you could honestly make an argument outside of A.J. Brown, which even he's been. You could make an argument that all three of his wide receiver spots are up for grabs every single week. That's a tough position to be in, to keep constantly having to get it right on a week in, week out basis. It's hard for anybody to do that. And his running back room, again, Chuba looks like he's done, washed out of here. Singletary, maybe, I don't know. It's just going to be him and Tyrone just being gross. At Ford, Ford gets a goose egg from Booty, gets hurt. Spot start for Parker Washington was great, 19. I do like Parker. I think he's a good talented guy, but he's not legit. McBride is a beast, certainly. DJ Moore finally had a good game, 26 points. His best game of the year by a good margin. Threw a touchdown. Sutton only 1 for 30, but it was a tutty. 1 catch on 6 targets. Got 10 points. It's Sutton, right? It's Courtland Sutton. And I like Sutton. Kamara's washed. He's done. He doesn't want to be there. Genty's been good. Love, again, it's just you don't want to rely on Jordan Love to be your fantasy quarterback because, he's just going to do shit like this. But Ford's sticking with him, I guess. I don't know. His bench, Pearsall, who knows when or if he's coming back. Scadabo's dead. Ford's not a playoff team. He's 4-5. He's the 4th lowest scoring team in the league. I don't know. Not good. Neither one of these teams are very good. Next, we got French Horse Ass pulling off a victory. Again, a lot of close games this week. 143 to 139 against Kickers Lives Matter. The Giant Killer, Savoy. Back-to-back years, 2 years in a row, he has knocked off the last undefeated team. I believe he did it to Connor last year. He has now done it to Duncan, broken the 8-game winning streak that he was on to put him at 8-1. He does this with no Isaiah Davis, no Tess Johnson, 2 studs of his team. He doesn't start Flacco. Got 43 instead of Stafford. Got 36. Really, it was T. Higgins. T. Higgins had that crazy bobble on the sideline, out of the defender's hand, into his hand for a touchdown. That's just the difference, right? It's just that close. He keeps starting Matthew Golden for reasons unbeknownst to me. 9 points, 4 points, 3 points his last 3 weeks. His ceiling is realistically like 10 or 12 points. But I guess this week, you're going to start Horton, who's done nothing. He's had 0 points. 3 of his last 3 weeks between a bye and then 0-0. 2 points, very unreliable. And that's really kind of, to me, the same boat as Plunk is in to a lesser degree. Well, I guess to a worse degree, but maybe with a lesser team overall. He just doesn't have a flex. Keenan's okay. He's kind of up and down. You don't really know what you're going to get. Henderson, kind of the same thing. I don't know. He had his best game of the season, right? And he only had 15 points. Okay from your RB2, especially when you got Bijan. But Bijan's kind of, he's 20 points is pretty good. That's you can do with that. So I don't know. I think for Savoy, the question is, can all the pieces or enough pieces line up at the same time? Because he certainly has a lot of boom bust guys, and can they all match up at the same time? Hey, he's 5-4. He's kind of doing this Jeff Fisher thing, right? He's loss, win, loss, win, loss, win, win, loss, win. So, you got to think he's due for a loss this week, and I certainly think it's leaning that way, but we'll get to that in a minute. Hello, you're live on State of the Union.
Huh?
You're live on State of the Union.
What'd you say?
You are live on State of the Union.
Oh, okay, my bad. Sorry, I'll call you back.
Okay. Hey, if you're going to Arby's, you want to get some mozzarella sticks or something?
No.
Okay.
I'm just kidding. I'm just kidding. You should have just texted me that you wanted that when I told you that earlier, though, today.
Yeah, and I was trying to wrap up at work, then I got home, I did this, and I figured you'd call me, and here we are.
Okay. Yeah, I can get those.
Okay.
All right, bye.
All right, love you.
Love you too.
All right. So, I think Savoy's going to hang right around there. I'll be stunned if he finishes any higher than 8-6. I'll be stunned if he finishes any lower than 6-8. To be quite frank with you. So, wow, and that's not many games. I mean, he's only got to win one more game, and 7-7 is very much in play. Probably more likely. But for Duncan, like I said, I've been thinking that Duncan's team is fraudulent for about the last month. He squeaked by last week against Ford with 120. I just don't believe in his team. He still put up 140 this week, which is certainly, like I said, I mean, he would have beaten basically every other team other than 4 teams. Would have been fun to see him beat Plunk. That would have been actually kind of fun. No offense, Connor. Sorry. But, he didn't have Judkins. He didn't have Baker. He didn't play Andrews, who got, 18 points. His best game, second best game of the year. Who knows what you're going to get out of Andrews on a week-to-week. But BTJ, injured, just he's just a shell of himself, which I hate to see. He had such a good year last year. Really, the sophomore slump's really slapping him in the face. He starts Darius Slayton. Fine. Jacobs is great. Cook's great. Chase is great. He got 36 points from Darnold. A little spot start. And, he might be a little quarterback controversy there now. And the Kicker Lives Matter war room. But I don't know. I mean, he's going to have Judkins back. He's going to be starting probably 3 running backs the whole year, pending health. Jacoby's on the Jags. Maybe he's going to be the guy for them now. I don't know. But Savoy, he lost Shaden Daniels again. 2 years in a row with Savoy, right? He gets this great rookie quarterback that has a great season, keeps him the next season, and Stroud didn't get hurt last year; he just sucked. But Jaden, dislocated elbow. Who knows when he's going to be back? Probably out for effectively the season at this point. So, he's going to be rolling between Stafford and Flacco for the remainder of the year, which, hey, they're putting up points. So, next we've got the McCockners versus Doesn't Contribute. Craig 164 to 107. Craig actually almost hit his projection on the dot. He was projected 164.04, hits 164.1. Got to be the closest team all season to hitting their projection right on the nose. So Sleeper seems to be dialed in with Craig. Would have missed the under on him just barely by point. That would have been, what a tough beef that would have been. And JD, he really needed this win to have any kind of hope of sneaking his way into the playoffs. And now he's on a 2-game losing streak. Lost 3 out of his last 4. Just his high water mark on the season's 131. This is his one win out of his last 4 games, but he's had a lot of 120s, a lot of 107s, not been below 100, not been above 130 really, and that's just it's just tough. Doesn't have that explosion power in him, unfortunately. Craig did this with no Hurts, no Devontae Smith. Again, I mean, bye weeks, who gives a fuck? Not Craig. not old Craig. He doesn't want that. He's on a 5-game winning streak, is Craig. He had a 150 last week with no Gibbs, with no Kyron, with no JSN. And this week, 164 with no Jalen Hurts, no Devontae Smith. Spot start from Caleb, 50 points. Obviously, that's the story here, right? I mean, Caleb Williams, best game of his career thus far with a 49-burger, almost 50. And, more power to him. Craig just seems to have the touch. Kyron had a 20-point game. JSN's been the number one wide receiver on the year, 25. Pittman's been great this year, 24. Jameson, he finally, had a pop-up game. Gadsden Ferguson's definitely cooled off quite a bit with CD being back. And Pickens kind of getting going. Seems like he's maybe the third fiddle now in that offense. No Stevenson as well. So Craig's good, guys. I mean, Craig's the number one team in the league right now in my mind. I think it's him and me right there as the top two guys. For JD, he had Nico, he had CD. Olave is now like the only wide receiver there in New Orleans. So you got to think brighter days are ahead there. But McLaurin, it's just been he's played once since week 4. And it just honestly at this point he's probably going to be held out through the bye. And just kind of a lost season for him. It's sad to see that. He cut Murray, cut Michael Carter, Godwin, again, kind of a lost season for him. Alec Pierce had a great game. That's certainly not going to be an every week thing. He had no Goddard. Spot started at Hunter Henry with fine 11 points. Henry's just a good bye week fill-in, nothing more, nothing less. Solid. I wouldn't say good, solid. Yeah, I mean JD he's done. It's like 4 count. And then that brings us to our dog shit team of the week. They're up all over themselves. How would Hawk respond after the getting his first win of the year? Obviously, the hangover of the win was in full effect as Hawk was the only team to score less than 100 points this week. 99, close but no cigar. Puts himself at 1-8 as well. Lowest scoring team in the league by about. Wilson's got about 40 points on him in that department. And I think that gap is only going to continue to increase. I don't see Hawk winning any other games the rest of the year. I see him finishing 1-13. I see him being guaranteed to be horse ass. Probably not guaranteed to go to Mexico because it seems like Mexico nobody really gives a shit about. Nobody wants to do anymore. That window is probably shut, unfortunately. I get it. I'm not going to get into it on this. I get it. We need to figure something else out. But that's for another day. But yeah, it's just, he got 34 from Jackson Dart. He's been the lone bright spot for Hawks team. Sharp sucks. Tracy sucks. Odunze got goosed. McMillan is on the Panthers. Wan'Dale's, Kittle's just not been great. He's a blocking guy. He had no Breece Hall. Trey Tucker's the new number 1 wide receiver for what it's worth in Vegas. Benson should be back within a week or 2. Brighter days may be ahead. Not as bright as Wilson's, but, I don't know. Card to Hawk for at least set his lineup still, I guess. So, and for Nick, huge win for him. 4-5, ho-hum, 160 for him. He's been on quite the tear, honestly. He's really got a good team, honestly. He does, despite the record. I mean, Nick has losses when he scored 149, 153, 145, and 143. And, he easily could have won all of those games if he happened to play somebody else on that given week, and could be sitting at 8-1, just like Duncan. Honestly, with the points that he's put up. Now, granted, he got a win at 114 that he probably shouldn't have got, so let's just call it even. Let's call it 7-2. he could be 7-2, and firmly in the mix as a playoff team. He's not. Hadn't happened. He's got the not even the most points against, actually. Actually, not even close. I mean, Blaine has the most points against by a decent margin, 1287. Nick only has 1148. Which is interesting. Oh well. I mean, Nick's team's fine. He won 60. Great. Drake London, he just keeps having guys score 3 touchdowns. It's like he's addicted to that. Jonathan Taylor's done it multiple times. Devontae's done it. Drake's now done it. But, Colson Loveland, game of his career, his bench is nothing. There's nothing there. And when the touchdown regression hits, which it's inevitable that it will, you see that come back down. So, anyway, credit where credit's due. 160, good job. So, let's go ahead here, do a quick recap of the waiver run. We haven't had any trades, I don't believe, that I've missed. Nope. We had 8 claims today. Not a single one had a competing bid. So literally all of these players could have been had for $1. Highest one is 29 to Blaine. He picks up Pacheco. Also spends 21 on Theo Johnson. I spent 17 on Christian fucking Kirk. I've been bouncing back and forth with him. It's not really stuck yet, but maybe there's always time. Wilson gets Tillman for 9. Vele goes to Savoy for 5. JD picks up Fields for 5, which Fields might not even be the starter, which is hilarious. Wheels picks up Pat Bryant for 3. Don't think that's going to be the end of old Wheeler's pickups this week. I've got a good feeling that on Thursday or Friday, he's going to be picking up somebody else or maybe a couple other people. And that's going to be some guys he throws into the starting lineup. So, and then D. McCarty goes for 30 to JD, which I don't mind that at all, certainly. Good pickup. All right, let's go ahead here, get into a preview of Week 10. We'll start off with what I wanted to be the game of the week, but I couldn't do it. Not going to do it. Keeping the faith versus a major comeback season. Right now, I'm projected to win 155 to 121. Nick doesn't have his third wide receiver nor his flex in there. I imagine he's going to throw Colson Loveland in. So, now he's up to 133. Excuse me. And then whoever he throws in at his other wide receiver is probably going to be projected for like 10. And they're probably going to get 30 because that's how it goes for Nick. So I project that this is probably going to be around like a 155 to like 145-ish game. A little questionable for Swift says he's going to play this week. Honestly, I don't really want that. I don't really want Swift and Monangai both playing because they're going to just take away from each other. But, oh well. I have no control over that. It's going to be great. We're going to roll the Swift if they're both healthy. Swift's my guy. Thank you, Monangai, for your services. We appreciate you helping us get to 200. I think I've got a lot of green this week. Got a lot of red. It's a good mix. Nick's got a lot of green as well. Should be a fun one. Should be high scoring, I think. Just like I said Blaine and I's matchup was. And, well, I was half right. I did my part. Blaine didn't show up. So, I don't know. I can't go 0-2 against Nick, right? I can't, because that means I'd have to cash out on the bet, whatever that is. I can't remember. I don't want to give Nick stuff, so we'll go with myself. But be a big game for Nick. Big win for him. Big win for ramifications for others that are in that lower record space. Next, we got Flo's Fury. Wowzers projected 155 against Truck Nuts 129. That's going to be hammered. Wilson, scored 153 in week 1. Closest he's got since is 129. Can he do it? It's fully healthy. Hadn't been fully healthy since week 1. But you know what? I am going to go with Wilson to win this one. I don't think he hits 155, but I am going to go with Wilson to drop forward to 4-6 and get himself to 2-8. Next, we got the Dirty Birds versus Weed Leadville, 157 to 138. Again, your annual or weekly under for Connor. He's not going to get close to 157. But we will go with Plunk in that one. I think, like I said, somehow, some way, he's just going to find his way into the playoffs. It's just inevitable, I think. Next, we got the McCockners versus the Kickers Lives Matter. This is almost a dead draw money. Straight pick 'em. Duncan's projected to win 134.6 to 134.16. Gross guys all over both of these lineups. JD has no Mahomes, no CD. Duncan has no Jamar, no Kelsey. God, he's starting Christian Watson, Darius Slayton, and Jacoby Myers on a new team. And JD's starting Alec Pierce. I don't know. He's starting. I mean, Justin Fields isn't starting. I don't know. Duncan, I guess. Gross. And our penultimate matchup doesn't contribute 169 to 143 against Attleboro time. That's another hammer under for Hawk, and Craig will continue to cruise. All right, that brings us to our game of the week. So we've been having some good ones, some stuff I've liked. Now we get to some stuff I probably won't like. Our Planters Cashew Dill Pickle Flavored Game of the Week. Planters Nuts of Distinction since 1906. I think I've done regular cashews before, maybe even this season. Maybe not. But our cashews are picked from cashew trees. So I guess that means they're not nuts. These delectable little wonders aren't little at all. We only choose the most satisfying large cashews and roast them to perfection. Real dill. These are the real deal, but this is real dill. And zesty seasonings combined to make these mouth-watering cashews. They might just be our most craveable snacking creation yet. Beg to differ. It is a choking hazard. Don't give these to children under 4. So those of you little ones, Wilson, Blaine, Hawk, Ford. Is that it? We only have 4 fathers? I think that's right. Just keep them away. And they're all under 4. Well, I think Hawk has some that aren't under 4 anymore, so they can have it. It contains cashews, peanut oils, and just some flavored stuff. So yeah, Planters Dill Pickle Flavored Cashews, the official Dill Pickle. Say that 5 times fast. Dill Pickle Blah, blah, blah. Can't even say it once. Dill Pickle Flavored Cashew. Cheers. Not yet. There we go. Good seal on it. A lot better than these nuts. Smell like pickles. Let's get a... I hate pickles, by the way, for those of you who don't know. I do love cashews. Cheers. Yeah. Tastes about how I expected. Like piss and vinegar. Anyway, hey, to each their own. You love it, you love it. You don't, I don't. So, Swamp Donkeys, French Horse Ass, huge game. 4-5 versus 5-4. Writing's all over the wall for Savoy to lose this game, right? He's projected to lose by 13 points. Blaine's better than a 4-6 team. He wasn't last year. Happened to him last year. Still got in on points. He's not in the same position that he was last year. He needs to win games if he wants to guarantee his spot in the playoffs. Battle of the quarterback, you got Drake May versus Matthew Stafford. We'll go with May in that one. I think Stafford's got a little bit better of a matchup, but that NFC North, those always seem to be, or NFC West, seem to be just slugfest, slobber knockers. Not usually good, fun games. Sometimes they are. Maybe this is one of those. Tampa Bay, I think I like Drake in that one. I think that one might be a sneaky shootout. in the noon slate. Battle of the running backs. You got Derrick Henry, Kenneth Walker versus Bijan, excuse me, and piece of fucking shit bum Travion Henderson. We'll go Savoy in that one. Yike. How is he projected 140? Oh God. Just off Bijan alone. Even though Indy has a good run defense, I think Bijan struggles to get to 20 this week. But Kenneth is just stuck in an ugly timeshare and just sad to see. That's tough. Battle of the wide receivers. You got Puka, Ladd, and Emeka versus St. Brown, Keenan Allen, and Tez Johnson. Not even think twice about that. We'll go with Blaine. Battle of the tight end. You got Fannin versus Warren. We'll go with Warren, who's cooled of late. 8-10 his last couple games. But I think this game he maybe gets back on track. Fannin's been good, kind of a little up and down, but Fannin might have a good game. I'm going to push. Let's push that tight end matchup. And then the flex, you got Aaron Jones. Maybe he's questionable. He'll probably play. It's Wednesday versus Torrey Horton. Just no way with Rashid there now. I honestly, he ought to just roll the dice on Isaiah Davis or shit on Golden again. We'll go with Blaine. Ultimately, I think Blaine wins. I think the wide receiver and the quarterback give him enough of an edge to kind of push him over the edge, push him into that winning category there, gets himself back to 500, drops Savoy to 500, and let's roll with that. All right, well, that's all I got this week, fellas. I leave you with the German accent. If you've made it this far in the video, Dankeschön again, my friends, for sticking with me and enjoying a wonderful, on schedule, on time State of the Union. And if you've made it this far, well, hey, you deserve a little tasty special treat. And this is what this German accent is, right? It's just a little treat, little fun thing I like to do. This is the only German game we are getting this year, I believe. I think next week maybe is in Spain, in Barcelona. And, hey, Auf Wiedersehen, farewell, good luck this week, and stay safe out there. And as always, Whoopig.